I've been living in Germany now for 28 years. So, I've still got my Scottish accent. It's not as bad as it was or good as it was, whatever way you want to look at that. But yeah, I'm more German than I am Scottish. And I've been involved with this business now for, I don't know, 3 weeks, something like that, maybe 4 weeks, pushing on for somewhere around there. So it's actually quite inside. So how did I come across this? Pretty much like yourselves, got that call. Very happy with what I was doing at the time, but this immediately caught my attention, and I just had to get involved. It's one of these things that you think, well, think about it. There was no thinking about it. It just ticked all the boxes, more boxes than I've ever had ticked before. So here I am, and Derek's kindly invited me along to share some of my knowledge. Now, I do apologize. I have just thrown this together literally because I'm going through a very transitional period with employment and careers and all that kind of stuff. So I will be reading from my notes, and I've done a bit of a short PowerPoint presentation just to give you a highlight. But what I would strongly suggest, because there are components of this training that are very, they will change your life, basically. They'll change your results, and they'll change your level of understanding as to why maybe you're not getting the results you're looking for. Now, just a quick question. Now, this has probably happened to everybody, but have you ever had the situation where at night time you've got all these fantastic intentions? You're going to, change the world tomorrow. You set your alarm clock early. Your alarm clock goes off in the morning, and then you hit the snooze button, and your blanket feels like a slab of concrete, and you just can't seem to find the motivation. I think probably everybody's been there. I've certainly been there. And have you ever asked yourself why that is? You want to do stuff, but you just can't seem to pull yourself towards the direction of doing that stuff. So I'm going to identify some areas here, and it may be new to you, it may not, I don't know. But like I said, I would suggest you to take some notes because there are a few components in there that will give you a much deeper understanding of what it is or what it is not that we're doing and why we shouldn't be doing it. So the thing is that sometimes we think to ourselves, well, I'm lazy or, I'm procrastinating. That's not the case. That is not the case at all. You're not lazy and you're not procrastinating. What it is basically, you lack a specific type of motivation, which I'll cover in a minute. I'll go into some details on that. But it starts with upgrading your fuel level. Now, what does that mean? I don't mean petrol or diesel or that kind of stuff, but we have a source of fuel. It's the fuel that drives us. Now, there's two kinds of motivators. Now, everybody says you need to get motivated. What is motivation? Well, it actually derives from the word motive. And we always talk about the reason why. We say, it needs to make you cry. It needs to be huge. It needs to keep you up at night and stuff like that. But what does that mean? I'm going to actually break that down. There's two kinds of motivators. There's extrinsic and there's intrinsic motivators. Now, your extrinsic motivators are things that, the new car, the dream holiday, the villa, loads of cash, designer clothes, all that kind of stuff. But have you ever thought about those sort of things and that motivation is gone within what, a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days? You're back to square one again. So you just don't feel inspired anymore to pursue those external or extrinsic motivators. But the real motivation, extrinsic motivators or motivation will get you going. That will certainly get you going in a direction, but you'll always come to a standstill. But where the fuel comes from, where the drive comes from, where the passion comes from, is within, and we call that intrinsic. So I'm going to break that down for you. Let me just share my screen here. And I'm assuming I've got the authority to do that. Yeah. So can everybody see that okay? Yeah. See that, Derek?
Yeah, see it.
Great, fantastic. So let me just put the chat up here. Okay, so how to force your brain to do to crave the doing the hard things. Now we all sort of we gravitate towards the things that are easy because they're easy, and it's it's no problem at all. But it's the hard things, the things that we need to do, that we need to understand how we can actually get on the journey to doing those things. So the two type of motivators I just mentioned, that there's extrinsic. That's the you act for the sake of a reward. Now, if you think about this, if it's a material thing, It doesn't matter if it's money, a house, a car, a holiday, whatever, paying off the mortgage, or just paying your bills or whatever. It's some sort of rewards, but that's not really a real motivator. Some things might be pressing in such a way that you will move towards that only because you've got like a deadline to pay that bill, or you've promised your kids you're going to go to Disney or whatever it is. But your intrinsic motivations, they come within. Now, not many people actually cover this because we tend to gravitate towards that which we are accustomed to or is easy, and that's the extrinsic thing. Many people talk about, when I've got this kind of money, I'll do this kind of stuff, or I'll buy that kind of thing, or I'll be that kind of person, whatever. But when we're talking about what comes within, it's broken down into actually 5 areas. Now, you may be familiar with these terms, you may not. The curiosity, let me just talk about curiosity. Curiosity, I've taken some notes here. Let me just stick to my notes. Curiosity is what you explore. Now, when we talk about the subject of curiosity, I'm a very curious person. I'm not, a scientist type curious person, but I like to know how things work. I like to, as an example, when I got involved with this business, I started clicking in all the links, clicking on all the buttons on the Helo app. I wanted to know what was behind there. And I found stuff that you probably wouldn't have found before had I not been curious. So that curiosity sort of basically got me on the journey of finding out what it is we have and what it is we do. It's one thing to to know something, but it's another thing when you to know that when more starts happening. So when you want to explore that more, you want to explore more, and that becomes more, and then things become happening. The next one is mastery. Now, mastery is I'm going to go into a scale in a minute, but mastery is basically is when you approve. This is the ability to endlessly improve. What you do is the acquisition of skills. Now, when we talk about mastery, there's many, many skills. Well, there isn't actually that many. We talk about we need to be able to have conversations. We have to be able to connect with people. We have to be able to follow up with people. We have to be able to present information. There's many, many skills, and there's sub-skills in this business and on any other kind of network marketing, MLM, direct sales business. There are certain things that we need to master. Now, if we don't know these things, we tend to stay away from them rather than just practicing them, being bad at first and getting good as we go along. But if that's missing, that will be one of the reasons why you're not actually moving towards getting results. The next one is autotelic or autotelicity. Autotelicity is what you love. Now, when you have an activity that you absolutely love, you tend to want to be doing it all the time. Or if you've got a job as an example, and you're really passionate about your business, you find yourself or your thoughts drifting towards wanting to do the activities that it requires to develop your business. That's autotelicity. And the next one is purpose. Now, if you think of people like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, they were on a higher purpose. And I'll give you an example. Years ago, I was very, very materialistic. I was extrinsically motivated. I wanted a fleet of cars. I wanted a massive mansion. I wanted loads of cars, designer clothes, Rolexes, and all that kind of stuff. And I was listening to Anthony Robbins, a seminar. This was years ago. And it really triggered something. It triggered some curiosity about what he was saying and how I could go about that. And he said that whatever it is you're pursuing in life needs to be bigger than money. Now, at the time, my goals were like money, extrinsically orientated. But then I thought to myself, okay, I had to think about that. I got curious. What could that look like for me personally? And I'll ask yourself the same question. What could that look like for you? Now, when your purpose is above money, that's when the intrinsic part of the motivation starts to kick in. So, I mean, I can't answer that question for you. I mean, basically, the money in this business, the money in my job, or any money that I earn in any of my other side projects doesn't motivate me. Don't get me wrong. It's important. We need it, to pay the bills and pay our way in life and stuff. But that's not what motivates me, because I am living at a much, much higher level, way above money. And what we're talking about is when you develop a purpose or discover a purpose for yourself, this is when the money doesn't matter. It just comes automatically. And the last one is autonomy. Autonomy is what you choose to do. Autonomy is one of those things that when it comes round to, you know, finishing whatever it is you do during the day, unless you're living in south of Spain and play golf all day, you know, whatever it is you choose to do when you cover it, the autonomy part is that you automatically gravitate towards the activities that are required to build your business. So this is a chart. I'm just going to leave that up there. So I'm just going to basically break this down. Curiosity. Now, let me ask you a serious question. I mean, if you've only been involved for a day or 2 days, clearly you're not going to be able to answer this question. But just ask yourself this question as you move along through the days and the weeks and the month in Vivo. Curiosity. How many times over the last however long you've been in this business have you looked or sought content or information that is related to whatever it is we are doing, whether it be the watch, the functions, whether it be the opportunity, whether it be the blockchain, whether it be the vision of the company? How often have you actually looked for and sought out specific information? That's that element of curiosity, to find out what it is we actually do, because it's not about knowing what we do so that you can tell other people. It's about knowing yourself what it is we do, because it gives you a certain level of confidence. To boost up your curiosity motivator, you need two things. You need leverage from learning, and you need immediate feedback. What do I mean by that? Leverage from learning is, let's say that your weak area is, I don't know, reaching out to people or having a conversation or following up or whatever it is. When you start to seek information about that specific weakness that you have, and you apply the information, this is when we get the immediate feedback. So we get something that we're not good at, we seek the information, we apply the information, we get the result, and that's the automatic feedback. And that improves our skill, it improves our confidence, and then we want to do more of that particular thing. Autotolicity. How many times did you spontaneously, without, you know, if you've scheduled time in for your business, how many times outside of the obligation or deadline did you actually spontaneously dive into one of the core skills? Now, it's very seldom, unless somebody's been around for many, many years in the industry, but it's very, very seldom that somebody is good at everything, unless, like I said, they've been practicing for years and they're just up there. Now, this chart that I've put in front of me, curiosity, mastery. Now, what I would suggest you do, if you're taking any notes, is on the left side, it doesn't have to be number 25, it can be 1 to 10. And on the bottom, I would write each of these things, because these are the 5 components that you need to master. Now, it may be that your level of curiosity is low. That will spill over into the other areas. It may be that you're a master sponsorer, or, you know, having conversation, you'd be master on that, or the skills, you know, the reaching out to people, the following up, getting people started. But do you do it automatically, or is it now spontaneously? Because persistence always beats intensity. What I mean by that is that quite often we think, okay, I said I was going to reach out to, I don't know, 20 people this week. I'll do 10 today and then have 2 days off, because then it's no problem. But no, that's actually not how the mind works. The mind works on consistency. It's better to reach out to 3 people a day, every day, than 10 people one day and then 10 people in 3 days' time, etc., if that makes sense. You know, persistency always beats intensity. It always has done. Sorry, not persistency, consistency always beats intensity. But these are the 5 areas that you really need to be looking at, because if one's missing, that the intrinsic motivator, because these are the 5 intrinsic motivators. If one is missing, what your goal is, let me just get my notes. What your goal is basically is to, how do you apply this, is really to take sort of a real honest stock of where you are right now. Where are you currently when it comes to curiosity, mastery, autotolicity, purpose, or autonomy? Where are you right now? And be honest with yourself. If you feel yourself that you're not really, you know, looking for the information, you're not curious, then that's one area that you need to develop. And it's the same with mastery. If you're stuck with, I don't know what to say to people when I reach out to them on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or what, or in person. I just don't know what to say. Well, that's clearly one of the core skills. And then you've got what the sub skills. What I mean by sub skills is that you've got friends and family, people that you've got a relationship with, know, like, and trust. But you've also got people you don't know too well. The lady that sells you the rolls in the bakery. It may be a complete cold contact that you just, connect with on LinkedIn. So these are the skills, is reaching out to people in the right sense, building rapport, presenting the opportunity, following up, and everything else. So these are the skills that you definitely need to master. Because if you feel, if your level of confidence is low when it comes to the core skills, then what we tend to do is we tend to avoid it. And then that way we just don't move on. And it's the same autotelicity, purpose, and autonomy. When we talk about purpose, I would say personally is the core of it all. Because if we haven't got a high level of purpose, if that reason why isn't big enough, if it doesn't come within, because when we talk about results, everybody wants, well, I would say everybody, most people want something out of this business, and it's some sort of result, whether it be a bit, a nicer car, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, but that's a result. It may be a specific amount of money. It may be 10K a month. It might be 20K a month. It might be a grand a month. It doesn't really matter. But when we talk about those kind of extrinsic motivators, they are results. Now, a result comes from an action, and the action comes from a thought. So we think about something, we feel that thought, we take some action, we get a result. But if we don't know why we're doing it, then why would we do it? You just do whatever is comfortable. You do whatever is sort of, just gets you by or makes you feel good, but you really won't be on that sort of journey there. So I'll just end that there. Keep it nice and simple, because we've been on for now 20 minutes or so. So I'll stop sharing my screen, wherever that is. Come down here. And I tell you what I did forget, actually. Let me share my screen again. Almost forgot. Sorry. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so there's one other slide that if I just, yep, got that. So here we go. Get over here and press this. There we go. No, we're not. There we go. Okay, and there's just one last slide. Derek asked me to share this with you. Now, I don't know if you've actually seen this. I actually found this through curiosity. I was just digging through all the buttons and seeing what was in there, and I found this as well. I didn't realize this actually existed. Now, there are actually parts of this business that I didn't know existed, but it is an aid and a measurement if we want to take our business to the higher level. What level is that? What suits us there? Now, if you look at this, and there's some people being recognized in the group already, Rising Influencer 1-star, 2-star, 3 stars. What that basically means, if you have seen that but don't know what it means, it's a specific turnover within your organization. So 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. But what particularly appealed to me, and it may not appeal to you, or it may, when you get to the ambassador influencer 1-star level, that's like 1 million. That's when life starts to get really interesting in this business. Now, there's no other incentives in here, but when you get to the ambassador influencer 1-star level, that's when you're talking about, carte blanche, private jets, yachts, gala dinners, that kind of stuff. If that's your thing, this is the level that you want to be looking for. And again, 1 million is not like, that's not going to happen overnight. That's more of a longer term goal. But this gives you an indication of things that you can reach towards, your 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, if recognition is one of your motivators. Anyway, that's the end of my presentation, short and sharp. So if anybody feels like opening up the camera, even if their hair isn't done, you can brush your teeth later. You're happy to do that. And I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, John. That was really good. Yeah, it's a real eye-opener, doesn't it? When you sort of start looking at where you are on the scales, it certainly makes you think about it. And sometimes you don't break things down enough. Really, you sort of just think, right, that's my goal, that's what I want to achieve. But very interesting. And just talking about the ranking, by the way, I received an email today from the company saying we're using a new, instead of a calendar month to decide the ranks now, they're using the previous 4 consecutive weeks. So now it's going to be done on a 4-weekly basis, which means you've got more of a chance of hitting those targets. And like I said, it's a way of you seeing that you're actually receiving some sort of recognition from the company. There's no actual monetary awards until you reach the higher levels where they actually take you away on trips and everything. But it's good to know that your business is going in the right direction, really. So yeah, no, that was really, really good, John. Any questions, anybody, on anything that John was talking about today, or anything anyone wants to add or talk about, or anything at all? Please don't be frightened to ask.
Can I just say, John, I thought that was so good and so helpful, and you could apply it to so many parts of your life. And I think everyone has those areas where they get a bit stuck. And that was just helpful to be able to kind of analyze, where are you strong, where are you okay, where are you stuck, what do you need to work on. So I need to watch it again. I'm glad it was recorded, and just get it in my head. And I shall tell people in my team that unfortunately didn't make it tonight, they really need to watch that. So thank you so much. It was excellent.
Yes, thank you, Joy. But it's like I said, is when you said a key word there. When we get stuck, the reason we get stuck is because one of those 5 areas is missing, or it's at low level, and and it could be, and quite often it's the mastery, because the key or the core skills that we require, to effectively connect with people and close the deal, if you like, are in there somewhere. So if you don't master the core skills, or you do master the core skills, but you just sort of go with the flow because your level of purpose is low. See, they all work in with each other, but they need to be up there. And that's why I mentioned at the end is identifying and being completely honest with yourself is, where are you right now? And then you can see that. It's like when you do like a personal financial statement, where am I financially? Because the numbers never lie. So where am I sort of, intrinsic motivator wise, and I can work on them. And that way you just keep doing it. And your goal is to bring them up to the point where you're doing everything automatically. You're on a journey because you've got a higher purpose. It happens, in your sleep. You want to gravitate towards it because you just can't see doing anything else. And that's when you get to that level where you really start to ramp things up. Yeah,
totally. I agree with that. And also, going back to what you were saying about before about intensity and things like that, if I look at my track record, I've been in this industry over 30 years now. But it's only the last 5 or 6 years that I've actually been quite what I'd call successful. Successful in the sense that people I talk to generally join, which is good. It's not necessarily a good thing though if the business is the wrong type of business. But that we all know about. There are too many scams and everything else out there. So we're quite lucky in this organization that a lot of the homework's done with us. We've got a lot of key companies involved. Apple have actually allowed us to integrate with their systems, etc. All these things are key indicators of the type of company and corporate structure behind what we've got. And I think it's only going to improve more and more as time goes on. But yeah, I mean, going back to what you were saying about intensity, I only got better at speaking to people the more I did it. So you've got to start somewhere. And I truly believe that if you're not going to be in conversations with people, then nothing is going to go as fast as you want it to. And this is because of my own experiences. I started back in the 90s, and it was purely on conversation, but it was very, very difficult for me. I didn't understand what sort of conversations. I didn't understand what to say. People in those days, or the uplines used to say, just get a load of people's names and just throw the mud at the wall, just talk, try and get everyone in. And that's not the way.
Well, it's not the way, because it's not you throwing. Well, what if you're throwing mud against the wrong wall forever?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these
there is a lot of structure. And then going back to what you're saying, skills, we are going to be doing skills training. and we're going to impart a lot of knowledge from people who've done it already, and that's the important thing. You know, if you're going to follow people, follow the people that have done it. Don't go and speak to the Mini driver. If you want a Mercedes, speak to the Mercedes driver and he'll tell you how he got it. But what do? We all go down the pub, solve the world's problems, and then we go home and we can't even pay our own bills. You know, that's what happens inevitably. You know, so try and talk to the people who you know have got the answers, who you know have got the success history, who you know are succeeding. And again, this changes because over time I've met many, many millionaires, and some of those people have succeeded, some have gone off and not, you know, lost their success. That doesn't mean to say they're not going to be successful again. It just means that their mindset maybe needs to change. You know, you need to change with the times. You know, when I moved into crypto some 5, 6, 7 years ago, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And again, you see, people think, you know, they go into something that, oh, that's not going to work. It's like, you know, the mobile phone. I had an opportunity many years ago to go into business with a friend of mine who was opening up a mobile phone shop. And in those days, it was a mobile phone that looked like a brick, and you had to carry the battery around, a big battery around. And he went on to become a millionaire. I only needed to put £1,000 into that business. And I thought it wouldn't work. And look at mobile phones today. And that was the days when none of the networks were in charge. So you actually made money on the calls and everything. So, you know, it wasn't very difficult. And same with the electric industry, you know, before it changed, you could make actually a lot of money on commercial energy. And I was involved in a very good period at that time when commercial energy was paying really, really well. It doesn't today. So you've got to move with the times. You've got to understand how it all works, and you've got to start to learn. Like John's saying, you know, you've got to learn the mastery. You've got to learn what you need to learn to do things. And hopefully through our experience, John's experience and various other people's experience, we're going to help you along the way, wherever you are on that ladder. And some of you might be ahead of us and want to actually, you know, share your experiences. And that's what's good as well. Any questions, anybody? Any more questions or anything you want to say or you share with us?
I just want to add to this because one thing that most people probably don't know about John is that he's one of the most positive people. And we all have an inner drama queen, okay? And we all tend to focus on what doesn't work and what we didn't achieve. And when the motivation comes, when you know what drives you intrinsically, and then you just stubbornly focus on what you have achieved, you're going to fly, because it takes way less energy to find reasons why you want to do things than why you shouldn't be doing it. And most people forget that part. And I mean, I was messaging with John this morning. I said, it's going to be a good day. I got the reply, it's a fantastic day. Okay, so, you know, so just look at it from the bright side. And we are in a super exciting business, super exciting timing. It is dead simple to explain this to anyone. So the more fun you have with it, and you know, don't beat yourself up if you only made one call instead of 10. So what? You've done one. Celebrate, you know. So that's what I just want to add to the seriousness of motivation, John.
There is actually one point.
You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun.
One point, Derek, is worth actually mentioning here in the group, and it's something that I, you know, our team got together with my sponsor and mentor last night, and he brought some really, really good points out as well. And this is something worth putting into the group. But when we look at you know, quite often when we come across an opportunity, it sounds great on paper. We get excited. This is it. It's going to make our dreams come true. This is and it doesn't happen. And for some reason, it crashes or burns, and we don't sponsor anybody, whatever it happens to be. Now, my sponsor, he mentioned some really good points, and I'm just going to repeat those points because they're definitely worth. And it will probably bring some awareness as well to why it is that most people, and we're talking about 98% of people, never make any money in network marketing. Now, if you've got an opportunity, there's several components to an opportunity that need to be absolutely 100% in place for it to have any longevity and for people to have success with it. And those things are like the product pricing, Now, more often than not, a network marketing company, find an amazing berry, make a shake out of it, whatever, and then sell it with a margin. Now, when you compare that to the sort of open market prices, it's usually overpriced, because that overpriced part of it is what pays the network their commissions, etc., etc. So when your consumer buys this amazing drink that's 20 quid more expensive than you get it on Amazon, they'll gravitate back to Amazon, because it just doesn't make sense to spend 20 quid more. So then you've got attrition in your customer base, and you've got distributors that don't make any money. So you have attrition in your distributors, because, throw enough mud against the wall, just get it in front of people. If they breathe, present it to them. That's so not happening. It's just not right. So you've got the product, and you've got the product delivery. Can the product be delivered in a timely manner? I was with a company that they charged like 20 quid for a small delivery, and they charge 20 quid for a big delivery. So there should be fairness in the delivery. So there's another point as well. What about support? If you raise a ticket, does it get responded in a timely manner? Is it professional? Is it friendly? Does it answer the question that you have posed? You also get the compensation plan. Now, if you look at most compensation plans, they're usually between 40, maybe 55% of the overall sales. But the majority of that is absolutely almost impossible to get anywhere near, because it's in depth somewhere. So therefore, you're not going to make much money as well. And then, of course, you've got you've got the compensation plan, you've got the product, you've got the delivery, you've got support, you've got these components. Now, if you think about what we've got right now, and my sponsor brought this up, eloquently, that if you raise a ticket with Vivo, it usually gets responded in a timely manner, and they are so friendly. The delivery of the product. Now, I live in Germany. Considering this product is coming from China, it's like, it's not around the corner. I got my I think it was either 2 days or 3 days. It was no more than 3 days. I got a notification on my email saying your DHL delivery will be arriving today. I'm like, I haven't ordered nothing. And then I got my Vivo watch, and I thought, what? Are you kidding me? 3 days from China? So there's one thing. So you've got the support, you've got the product. Now, you've got the product pricing. Now, if you consider Samsung, Garmin, Fitbit, Apple Watch, you look at the prices of them things, we charge $149. So the pricing is way up there. And by the way, the company doesn't make any money on the watches. You look at the compensation plan. Now, we talk about binary, unilevel, cycles, flushing, all that rubbish that are just stumbling blocks, put in place to stop you from making money. Do we have that here? We don't. You have an A hub and a B hub. You don't have any depth, nothing. It's just volume in A, volume in B. So that's simple. You've got immediate cash through the Socify. And that's it. And there's no, anything else. There's no flushing, so it gets carried on to the next month. So we have, in my opinion, an almost perfect business model. And that's why we should never have any reservations on reaching out to people, because we're not selling an overpriced product. We need to convince people. It's all in place. And that is the making of the almost perfect business model. And we can go out with confidence, we can promote it, and know that people aren't going to come back to you and say, well, you said this or you said that, and that didn't happen. It's happening. And that's why I am passionate about what we're doing here.
Yeah, that's so true, John. You really, really hit the nail on the head. And guys, understand this. We haven't even started making on the VSC yet. The VSC is a coin that's only 55 cents at the moment. The money I've made, I just can't believe it. I didn't join this for the money. I'll admit that straight off, because I actually last year, January, had a heart attack, massive heart attack. February, I had a double bypass surgery. Had I had my Vivo watch, my Hilo watch, I think I would have prevented that. I definitely think that was the case. So my mission is to get to as many people out there and help prevent, more occurrences like Brian was saying. There's a lot more people having heart attacks nowadays, and it's quite frightening, really. And that's the nature of the world. That's the nature of people's lifestyles and everything else. People don't fully understand what they are and aren't doing. Doctors don't fully understand. I remember when I've had 3 heart attacks, but I remember when I changed my lifestyle. I used to be a chef, and I actually took a course in nutrition, and I then realized how much of an impact on nutrition had on us. But what I was doing was quite late in the day. Had I known what I know now, I would have started in my teen years because it's a cumulative effect. You know, you smoke today, you won't die. 30 years from now, you probably will. It's a cumulative effect that we have on our bodies. And the fact that the watch actually warns us, and if we can get this into the millennials, the younger people, etc., it's going to help them as well, not just the older people. I know a lot of old people are going for this mainly because it's preventative. But just going back to the money, okay, I started, what, 3 months ago? I contact roughly one person per day minimum. I don't work on Saturdays and Sundays because I choose not to. I've retired in 2020. And currently we've got over 200 people in the team. And that 200 people has brought in a staggering £3,000 to me, if we're talking sterling, over that period. And just talking about the VSE, if that VSE was worth $1 currently, which it won't be long before it reaches that, that would be bringing me over 1,000 a week currently on the team growth. So, you know, just showing you what you've got in your hands and the potential for the future. Yes, Brian, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Derek, sorry to hear about your heart attacks.
No, it's all right. No
you know,
problem.
you're coming from totally congruent and credible perspective because of your personal experiences. And that's why I said earlier that this is not and shouldn't be about the money. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, there's a difference between selling something and sharing. And you know, I actually would have a belief here about this product. The money is secondary, but one point that I do have, and look, I've only signed up 2 nights ago. I haven't even got a product yet. But one of the things that I do take umbrage with is the emphasis on the presentation that I saw on ridiculously stupid amounts of money. And to be honest with you, I mean, even to be talking about the coin at $1, I think is ludicrous. Because we've had many experiences with other companies in the crypto space, and they've had this grandiose idea that the coin will go to $1, and in some cases it's worth 1,000th of a cent. So let's be realistic and let's put it on a secondary note. The product, and if you lead with the product, the money will follow if you're in your integrity and congruent with what you're doing. That's my opinion.
Just
Yeah,
if I could just add on to that, Derek. I don't know if you know that. I mean, obviously, you just started very recently, but when you look at the vision of the company is nothing to do with the crypto. That the crypto side is just part of it. It's not to do with the crypto, and it's nothing. Well, it has got a lot to do with the device, but the vision of the company actually was born in that all that data that's been sold out there. And all that money, you know, the 200 and whatever, 60 odd billion or whatever it is people are making out of our data, the motivation for the company to start this opportunity was to empower people, bring the data back to the individual and allow them to monetize it and make the money themselves and keep it in a sort of separate entity. Because people are just, excuse my phrase here, but taking the piss. I mean, they're milking us for everything they can, whether it be email address, mobile number, whatever. And the company says enough's enough, and they're taking that element out of the marketplace and giving it back to us.
Yeah, that's true. And I agree with you, Brian. I mean, the thing is, I only brought that up because it's a factor. I mean, we are collecting VSC in the meantime. And in the future, that I don't know how far, it could be quite a few years, you know, that it could reach $1, it could be next year. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, in the meantime, we can share this with a lot of people and still benefit. Because for some people, the money is important because they, you know, they do need that extra money coming in every month over and above what they earn.
Don't get me wrong, Derek. I'm not saying that because the money, I mean, the whole thing is your health, your wealth, and your health is your wealth. But, you know, let's keep it realistic because, you know, at 5 cents to be talking about it at 20 times that value, in my opinion, is unnecessary and is actually counterproductive. That's only giving you my opinion. You know, I've been networking since 1981 and I've had a reasonable amount of success at it. That's why I'm living in the south of Spain. But you know, it's it certainly would be a bone of contention for me, and not something that I would even put people in front of with those sort of figures. Yeah,
No,
I'm going to have a chat with.
I think you're right, Brian, because you know, if it does go up to $1, that's the sort of money we're making. But I would sort of tone that down and say, listen, you know, it's got the potential. We don't know if that's going to be, because the marketplace decides that. But right now, this is what we're looking at. You know, because people, the majority of people that are looking or open to network marketing opportunities are, if you look at the percentages in the whole marketplace, $500 is the key number that people, if you can sell them on $500, they're sold. 20 grand a month.
And John, like, I mean, the presentation that I saw on what day is this? Tuesday night. You know, they were saying if you got so many people in your network and the coin was this and that, you'd be on 700 grand a month. Let me tell you something. You know, I've been a 6-figure earner a month in networking after 40 years, and nowhere near those figures. And I'll tell you right now, I don't know anybody with a product-based business earning those sort of figures. So in my opinion, it's totally wrong, totally it's misrepresentative, and it's unnecessary. So we've got a good product, you've got a good business model, you've got a good company. I mean, I had a Helo device many years ago. So the company have been around, they've got the credibility and the track record. Let's not blow our marketplace because of stupid, overhyped and overrated, you know, exaggerated figures. That's my opinion.
No, it's a good point. It should really be addressed, because that sort of moves into the compliance side of things, of enticement.
Yeah.
You know,
now you have it. Yeah. And especially with a product that's got credibility, it's not as if we're selling, you know, a digital asset here that's thin air. You've got to.
And remember one thing, there is very little attrition in this since I started, and understand there won't be, because if people are wearing the device, and if people are just wearing the device for an benefit, you still benefit. And the other thing also is, remember, there's no subscriptions, no obligatory subscriptions. I have taken out the subscription for $9 because I wanted to test the strips, and the amount of information I get from that is even better, you know, including glucose levels and all that sorts of things, because I'm diabetic as well. So there's a wealth of information, and I think I've done a few videos as well, Brian. If you want to go to my website, I'll send you a link. Connect with me in the group.
I don't do Facebook, by the way, guys. So I'm happy to join.
No, this is in the WhatsApp group. Just connect with me on the WhatsApp group, and I'll send you to my YouTube.
Okay.
And you can see the information I've done on specifically on the product itself, and what the benefits are of different aspects of the product, which is really, really good, because sometimes we don't talk enough about that. And I believe in this particular training that we do on the Thursday, we'll be concentrating more on the product and services and skill sets and everything else that people need than actually the presentation itself. Because, you know, Graham and the rest do that. We let them carry on with that. Any other questions? Anybody else, or anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, Brian, and John, Lisa here, I agree with you, Brian and John, and thanks for your presentation, John. It was fantastic. It was brilliant. So, and you're right, your why has to be big enough, most definitely. Brian, I also agree with you there about over hyping and inflating to do with the actual figures on a plan. If you put that so high, people go, oh yeah, you know, such a short space of time gets to $1, and this is what I'm going to be doing, and then almost, you know, keep you to it. Just on a note there regarding going back to John about learning and self-educating. I'm actually at the moment reading some books, and I think it was the other lady. I think it was Auntie. That's got a bookshelf there. I noticed in the background on her visual there. So I'm reading a book at the moment because I'm one of those that sometimes you just feel that you're not able to speak to anybody and everybody. So I'm reading a book at the moment called How to Talk to Anybody. Learn the secrets to small talk, business management, sales and social skills, and how to make real friends. Book by Derek Borthwick. It's very good. I'm about 5 chapters in and really thoroughly enjoying it. It's opened up some doors and avenues. I know about the MLM world, been in a few previous companies. I'm in another one that basically does the fix as well alongside this. So absolutely fantastic. But I'm enjoying this book, and I've got a few others in the pipeline to read, which I think is really important to self-educate ourselves and keeping that why, keeping that motivation going. So if anybody wants the IBN number, I'm happy to share it with you.
No, that's a good point, that Lisa. There's actually Ray Higdon, a guy that he was one of my mentors years ago, and he has a saying that's always stuck with me, and it says, "Stop thinking about what you think you know, and start looking at your results." Because if our results are not in line with what it is we actually want to achieve, then we need to change the way we think, and the only way we can do that is bring on board new information, and that gets done by podcasts, YouTube videos, books, whatever it is. But we need to expand our horizons, and our level of attitude and knowledge will come from all of that as well. But people, they sort of want different results, but keep thinking the same thoughts and taking the same actions. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, definitely something's got to change, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's the sign of insanity, isn't it? If you continue to do what you've always done, and to get a different result, it's the sign of insanity. You got to change what you do to get a different result, because otherwise, just you go around on the merry-go-round.
And the other thing
so
as well
I
is
did that.
The other things as well is that people expect results, but not first of all put in the work. They feel like entitled, like I am entitled to be successful, but unless you put in the work, buddy, it's not going to happen, is it? It's just not.
You know the saying for that, John, don't you?
What?
The only place you get success before work is in the dictionary.
Exactly.
Brian,
good point there, Lisa.
Sorry, Brian, I recognise you. Were you in New Ways?
Yeah, I was a diamond in New Ways many years ago.
Oh my goodness, I used to be in New Ways. I used to be in Eddie Daly's team. Do you remember him?
I was in Eddie's team as well. Yeah, I was one of his diamonds. Yeah.
Of course you were. How are you anyway? I just thought to myself, oh my goodness, that's Brian from New Ways. That's obviously where you made all your money. I remember you did really, really well, didn't you?
Believe it or not, that's 20 years ago, Delia.
Oh my God. Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
You probably don't remember me, but I do. I remember you. And Phil as well.
Well, if you had your camera on, it might help.
I said that to Danny last time.
I'm not honestly on my mobile for some reason. When I'm on Zoom, I can't access the camera, and that's the truth. I'm not making up stories.
Well, can I tell you something? I mean, on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
It's actually 22 years ago on Saturday to the day.
Wow.
I went to the opening of the New Ways offices in Utah, because it was my 40th birthday, and it was the longest birthday I've ever had in my life, given the time traveling over there, So that was in January 2002. Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, you haven't changed. You look exactly the same. Anyway, it's nice to see you on here.
Whatever glasses you're wearing, we'll go and get them from that place anyway. No problem.
Nice to see you on here anyway. It's really nice.
And you, pleasure.
I'm sure over the weeks we'll start meeting all kinds of people from all sorts of places.
Small world, isn't it?
It is a very small world.
Especially in the networking arena. And this is why, Derek, I'm probably not even qualified, because I haven't even got a product or anything yet here, but I've got a call in the morning with Wilfred, set it up with Graham and that, because for me personally, I wouldn't put anybody onto those presentations. I've been in the money side of things, and it just puts people off, as John said earlier.
To tell you the truth, Brian, I actually get people on board before they see the presentation. But I don't say that to everyone, and the reason why is because not everyone's capable of doing that. Okay, so we need to I suppose maybe if we say something to Graham and Peter, we'll get
Well, I'm going to
some-
have a chat with them in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
do that. Mention that the sort of compliance enticement set, because
Yeah,
that will
yeah.
bite us in the arse if we don't get that addressed.
Big time, because especially, when you look what's happening globally and in the States particularly right now. So the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
thing you
there's a
want
lot-
when you've
lot
got a
going
good
on.
business with a good product is the likes of the behind MLM and the people coming at you, because
Yeah.
don't spoil it. As John
yeah.
said earlier, 500 quid a month is life changing for 90% of people.
Yeah.
It is.
So let's not talk to them about making 700 grand a month. I mean,
No,
it's
exactly.
Can I just ask a completely different question about the device? Because I struggle with the APG reading. That's the blue one.
Mhm.
That is the acceleration. Yeah, and the next word I cannot possibly
Okay, so
pronounce.
what do you struggle with, Angie?
It always comes out with the signal is weak, please measure again. And I've cleaned it. I've washed all oils from the skin. I've cleaned the
Okay.
sensor. I sit still. I press hard.
Uh-huh.
I press little. I press. It
Okay,
doesn't want to get.
if you've actually unbound your device and then bound it again and it still doesn't work, then I would actually send a ticket into support. Because
Okay, no,
obviously
I haven't,
with
because
the
all the other
thousands and
readings are
thousands
working.
of devices they're sending, there are going to be devices that are going to come out. In fact, there have been about 2 or 3 glitches, and they've replaced them quite easily, so it's not a big deal.
But all the rest is
I have the
reading.
same
All the
issue.
rest is
Yeah,
going.
I can't tell you. I'm not a technical person. All I know is it does all work on mine. One thing I will say, guys, if you are collecting the data, make sure that at least twice a day you do the ones that are on the subscription in order to get you 100% data a day. Otherwise, you can lose it, and you'll find that you're getting 60% one day, 70%, etc. So just to make sure that you do those readings manually. Again, on one of my videos, it shows how to do the manual checks on those as well. So
I had the
it's
same issue,
big-
Derek, Auntie, about taking it, and
Uh-huh.
I've rebound, I've recalibrated.
Okay.
This is to do
And
with
what is
BP,
it to do with what? BP, blood pressure, yeah?
the blood pressure,
And have you actually you've calibrated, you said as well?
yeah, I've calibrated it.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
done the where I swiped up the app, I've shut
Yeah.
it down, I've opened it up, and it just takes, in fact, for me to read on my watch the
Yeah.
BP, it can take, when I've got my finger on there and it's reading it, it goes
Yeah.
into it's not even like 30 seconds or a minute. It can take me as long as 5 minutes for that
No, it
bar to
definitely
go
shouldn't be
across.
taking that long. It should be taking about between 15 and 30 seconds.
No,
Definitely.
no, not on the BP, on the
Okay,
on the
well, send the
oxygen.
ticket to support. That's what I always recommend. And they're quite quick to answer as well, because those sort of technical things they need to know about, and they'll ask you the relevant questions.
Just
Okay.
a tip on that. I don't know if you've looked at this, but if you do a firmware update, that's sometimes.
Yeah, that as well. People don't
I've done
always
that
do
too, John.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I've done that
well, you
on
get
the
your.
Vivo. and-
Once you've
yeah.
done all the things you need to do, if it's still causing an issue, then I suggest do that.
You get that little rocket man, don't you, climbing on over the
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
globe.
Yeah.
I've had 2 or 3 updates. Where do I send the what's the details for sending in a support ticket?
I think Graham put the address or the details into the group.
Did he?
I
I
forget
haven't.
what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And if anyone wants me to connect or get them into either the Facebook group where we're doing the training for the LinkedIn, or into my videos and YouTube, then just connect with me personally. I noticed somebody asked a question there. Was it I forget who I saw earlier. Just going back to it. Wilfred, yeah. Just literally message me on WhatsApp, Wilfred. And then I will actually send you the relevant thing, and you can subscribe to my channel. Most of the videos I've done are actually, because again, I'm not sure about compliance and everything else as yet. I've done all the videos doing it naturally the way I do it. So they're actually private. So you can only look at them via a link if I send you that link. So yeah. Anybody else, any questions before we complete? What's the time? 22. Okay, that's your number, Brian. Okay, brilliant. Okay, that's good. I'll connect. Are you in the WhatsApp group? Did you get into this meeting from the WhatsApp group?
No,
Brian?
Wilfred sent me the link.
Okay. So you
I
need
just
to,
clicked on
guys,
there
you
to
need to add your members to the WhatsApp groups because otherwise they won't be knowing what's going on. So
I don't have any yet.
Okay, you've only just joined anyway, Brian. So
I'm sure
that's
that'll
probably
change, Brian. I'm sure
probably
that'll change.
happening. Yes.
You
Yeah.
what? Sorry,
I
John?
said I'm sure that'll change in terms of like having people.
Yeah, and as you get people, add them to the WhatsApp group, and then all the information. There's two groups. One is actually for the training, and the other group is for the presentations and anything corporate, if you like. So our group, the training group, tends to be a bit more informal. I set that up mainly because I wanted to do training, skills trainings, etc., and things like what John's doing, so that we can help people who haven't got the necessary skills. One of the things I learned a long time ago was that as an upline, your people are only as good as you train them, and if you actually give them the right information and help them with all the things that helped you succeed, then hopefully they will succeed too. And that's the test of, the real test, because your success is based on everyone else's success anyway. So, that's where we work. So were you in Amway, by the way, Brian? Because you're back in the 80s or 90s.
Believe it or not, that was my first experience in 1981. Yeah.
Okay, and just
Me too.
I know we're digressing slightly, but which group were you in? Who was your upline? Do you remember?
Well, it would have been.
Was it over in America or over in the UK?
No. A guy from Belfast, and he ended up. What's his name? Oh, for goodness sake.
It's called David. No.
No, his name's eluded me at the moment.
No worries.
Yeah. He got the Rolls Royce, and
Okay,
he
cool.
ended up, yeah. But
Okay.
I think I was too young to be taken seriously at that age.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the old circles intrigued me, and my first real experience with networking really wasn't until about 1986. But
Right. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
many years fun, and like I met Wilfred through networking in was it 96, Wilfred?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry, Wilfred, who's introduced you? I'm just trying to work out all the way up. Who introduced
Robert Shalmin.
Okay, I know Robert. Okay, so I know where you are in the group now. Okay, I try and work my way all the way up to see who's where, because there's so many people now. I just don't know anyone is. So brilliant. Okay, Wilfred, that's good to know. Yeah, I know Robert well, so that's good. Cool. So Brian, I know where you are as well. So I know where you are in the group as well. So that's good.
Yeah,
you're not unfortunately, but you guys are in my power leg, which I'm putting all my efforts into the other side, but you guys are motoring. I mean, that particular, my A hub went over 100,000, so it's a lot of money gone into that group. So I'm having to work fast in the B hub to catch up. So it's
I used to love the days of the 2.5 hour Board and Easel Amway presentation.
Yes, it was fantastic,
I remember
wasn't it?
when I was learning that thing, I was like, oh my God, and people sat there and listened to me.
Yeah. How many times did your board fall down?
Oh, that was insane. It was a complete mess, and you were rubbing stuff out and putting more stuff in.
But it didn't matter, did it? If you were excited, people wanted to join just because you're excited.
The enthusiasm, yeah.
That's right.
It was Dave. What's his name? Quite a flamboyant character, and he was big in Amway in those days, and that was.
And where was he? Is he related to what was it? A Hot Eyes organization, or who over in America?
Yeah, it was. He was running the American leg. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Butler? No.
Dave Butler's UK.
Yeah,
No,
I was.
no.
You know
He
Dave Butler,
was
do you,
Belfast.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was in Dave's.
I remember it. Don't worry, I will remember it.
What happened to New Ways, by the way, guys? Because I was in that years ago. Is it still going or what?
Nope.
No.
Tom and Dee split up, and was a whole tale there, but